Hello there. Welcome to my show, COVID-19 Update by Heerak. Today is October 3rd, 2020. And believe it or not, it's Happy Virus Day. Yeah. Did you know that they had a virus day in America? Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe, right? So I got you an advertisement from 5 years ago, 2015, October 3rd. You see right there, Virus Day. Yeah. So it's not just the Virus Day. It's a National Virus Appreciation Day. Yes, in the United States of America, we have National Virus Appreciation Day, and it's on October 3rd. Can you believe that? Yeah, we do. Now, what were you doing in 2015? Looks like a long time ago, right? Feels like long time ago. Um, because time seems to have slowed down because of COVID-19. You know, everything is closed. You can't eat at your favorite restaurants. You know, so life seems to go slowly. Yeah, but we've only had COVID for less than 1 year. Yeah, you may feel like it's for ages, but it's less than 1 year. And we have like decades to go. Yeah. Um, as you know, it's an election year, and it's particularly troubling because we still have like 1,000 people dying per day. Um, yeah, in the last 24 hours, 872 people have died in the United States of America. It's horrific. If you saw my show yesterday, 6 months anniversary show for COVID-19 Update by Heerak, I created this show in April 2nd, 2020. Uh, it's incredible what has happened from April 2nd to October 2nd. Today is October 3rd. I would encourage you to see the anniversary show from yesterday. You can find it on my YouTube channel, Heerak Christian Kim for Congress, YouTube. Yeah, watch a lot of the reruns. You'll be like, whoa, because people forget. But if you watch Heerak Christian Kim's, COVID-19 Update by Heerak show, it will jog your memory, So I'd encourage you to just go through the whole thing again, reruns. Um, yeah, have a, COVID-19 Update by Heerak party with your family though, because COVID-19 gets around. Um, 5 years ago, you may not remember what you were doing, but how about 1 year ago? I thought I would share some positive stuff today. 1 year ago, or, a little bit over a year ago, I was on a cruise, cherry blossom boat, um, on the Potomac River with Georgetown University graduate students. Graduate student government, we sponsored a boat cruise. So we rented a whole big boat with like over 500 seats. I think it was like 500 seats, if I remember correctly. And yeah, we sold out. All the tickets sold out. Um, and it was a boat packed. We had all you can eat food, all you can drink drinks. And it was like 4 hours of just fun boat ride around the Potomac, people getting to know each other, dancing. Yeah, people were very crowded into that boat. Yeah, you won't have anything like that during COVID-19 America in 2020 or 2021 or 2022 or 2020, 2024. It's going to be forever. So for the foreseeable future, you're not going to have anything like that. Um, so in a sense, I can honestly say, as the vice president of graduate student government at Georgetown University, in academic year 2019 to 2020, from May 2019 to May 2020, that we had the last boat cruise of graduate student government, or grad gov boat cruise, which was like an annual tradition at Georgetown University for graduate students. We have 9,000 graduate students at Georgetown, and our cruise was the last cruise, for the foreseeable future. This COVID-19 is forever. You're not going to be able to go on a cruise like that for like 10, 20 years. Yeah, I mean, that's what healthcare experts are saying. The COVID-19 is forever. It's a 365 days a year. It's not a flu virus. It's not going to go away. Anytime you go into a crowded place, you can get COVID and die for the next like 20, 30 years. Yeah, your life is completely changed forever. It's not going to go back to 2019. It's never going to go back, because this is our new normal. Yeah, like people who are born now, 10 years from now, will not know 2019 America when you had boat cruise like that. Obviously, you can show them the photos, but you're never going to have anything like that for years to come. Yeah, yeah, maybe after like 2.5 billion people die in the world, we may have herd immunity. But the problem is COVID-19 virus keeps changing, mutating. So that may not even happen, unfortunately. Yeah, we may never get herd immunity because the virus keeps changing, keeps mutating. As you know, in March and April, young people almost did not get infected. Yeah, children, people in their teens, 20s did not get infected. But now, after the New York virus that started like end of April, babies and children can get infected. And after June's Florida virus, I've coined these phrases myself. I'm Heerak Christian Kim, independent candidate for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District. The Florida virus can infect 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds, and many have died. Many young people have died from COVID. And so if you could get infected, you could die from it. In the summer, you may experience mild or no symptoms, but winter is different. You're going to experience more. More people are going to experience more, and more people are going to die from it. So if you can get COVID, you could die. Obviously in the summer, it's warmer outside. Everything is warmer, but during winter, everything is cold, so you have a higher chance of dying. And there's other things too, like flu, strep throat, mononucleosis, sinus infections, RSV virus, all kinds of different viruses that like show their muscle during flu season. So a lot of people are going to die. As you know, I'm Heerak Christian Kim, independent candidate for U.S. Congress, 8th District. And I'm predicting that minimum 3 million Americans will die. So 3 million to about 30 million Americans will die in the 6 months long flu season that's starting in October. It could start in September too, but around October to April. So 6 months. We're going to have many, many people die. If you have 60,000 people die in every state, with 50 states, you're going to have 3 million people die. Minimum 60,000 people are going to die in every state. Minimum. In states like New York, you're going to have millions die. So you will see what I mean. If President of the United States of America can get COVID and is tested every day, every single day he's tested, are you tested every single day? You may be tested once, twice, or 3 times in the last 8 months. How are you going to know that you've got COVID if you're not tested every day? With President Trump, he's tested every day. Everybody who meets him are tested every day, and he still gets COVID. So what are your chances of survival? You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest here. Your chance of survival is much lower than President Trump's chance of survival. Well, do you wear a mask around your household? President Trump did not wear a mask around his White House household. I mean, it's do you wear a mask when you go to restaurants in Arlington? When you eat outside? Well, then you can get COVID eating eating in a restaurant, even outside, because you have waiters serving you, and you have people walking by, talking, breathing into your table as they walk by your table. You get COVID just by sitting there, and getting the COVID breath from people walking by or people talking. Their spit, you can't even see, spewing onto your food that you eat. You get COVID. Yeah. So in ways that you don't even know you can get COVID, you're gonna get COVID, and you may die. So that's coming. Um, yeah, I mean, minimum 3 million people are gonna die in America. That's like guaranteed. Guaranteed. Think about it. If President Trump's gonna get COVID, his wife gets COVID, and they're the leader of the most powerful nation in the world, with the best doctors, best epidemiologists, with measures meant to prevent them from getting COVID. What chance do you have to not get COVID? It's kind of like you're having Secret Service to protect President Trump from death, from, like assassins, right? Even one bullet getting through can kill him, right? It's like a zero tolerance um, defense to protect the President of the United States. But COVID-19 got through. It's just like a bullet. I mean, it's a more painful way to die than a bullet wound. Longer period to die. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So yeah, you have a very high chance of getting COVID, and flu season is 6 months long. It's like a half a year. What chance do you have to evade it? I would write out a will and expect to die. I mean, if you don't die, great, but you should expect to die. If you're like over 50 or over 40 and you're fat, you have diabetes or like heart condition or liver condition, some kind of condition. If you're over 40 and with some kind of condition, you should expect to die. You may not die, but you have to prepare for potential death. Make out a will, and make peace with people you want to make peace with, because you may die. Put your house in order because you could die. Yeah, just prepare. You may not die. Great if you don't, but you can die. So you should expect that. 872 people have died in the last 24 hours. But a lot of people at Georgetown University, look at all those smiles. Of people who enjoyed the Georgetown University graduate student government boat cruise. But Georgetown University campus is completely shut down right now because of COVID-19. And I worked hard for 3 months to shut Georgetown campus down to save your lives, Hoya lives. So I have a lot of friends, and as the vice president of Georgetown University graduate student government, although I graduated in August 2020, August 24, 2020, I have a heart for all my constituencies at Georgetown, 9,000 graduate students. They're like my voters, right? Because I was voted in to be vice president in April of 2019. And so I have a heart for them. I don't want them to die. So I worked hard to save their life, and that's why, I'm going to be a great congressman. That's why you should vote for me. Write my name in, Heerak Christian Kim, for Virginia's 8th District. I have filed a lawsuit against Virginia Governor Northam, and I filed a lawsuit against the Virginia Department of Election, so that court can order them to put my name on the ballot box in Virginia, because I needed to collect 1,000 signatures and submit it by June 9th, which is the election law of Virginia for independent candidates. And I was running as a Republican from November 2019 to February 2020. And then I started running as an independent in March 2020 to now. And Republican candidates did not have to collect any signature because they had a convention. So delegates to Arlington, delegates from Arlington Republican Committee, delegates from Alexandria City Republican Committee, delegates from Falls Church City Republican Committee, delegates from Fairfax County Republican Committee. They voted in the nominee to run for Virginia's 8th District. Had I continued, I believe I would have won. But I mean, God directed me in a different direction. You could see among one of the videos in my YouTube channel, Heerak Christian Kim for Congress. It explains it. It's like a 3-minute video that explains it. But God guides you. You kind of follow, right? Um, so I've been running as an independent since March 2020, but Virginia Governor Northam issued a executive order making Virginians stay at home from March 30th to June 10th. And I was supposed to collect thousands of signatures and submit it by June 9th. How are you going to collect signatures when it's illegal to do that under executive order, right? I have dozens of volunteers. Um, but yeah, so basically, I wrote to Department of Elections, Virginia Department of Elections, saying, give me a waiver for the 1,000 signatures of petitioners from the Virginia State District area, because Virginia Governor Northern made it illegal for me to collect signatures. So Chip Piper, Commissioner of Virginia Department of Elections, he's the head honcho. He wrote back and said he doesn't have legal authority to waive my signature requirement. So I wrote to Governor Northam saying, hey, I'm paraphrasing. Hey, you issued the executive order for stay home at home, which made it illegal for me to collect signatures. So give me a waiver for the 1,000 signatures so my name could go on the ballot, because I fulfilled all the other requirements. And he hasn't written back yet. And the deadline was June 9th. I filed a lawsuit on June 3rd. I waited like weeks and weeks and weeks, like over a month, for Virginia Governor Northam's reply. Because I do everything above board, honestly and fair. I'm the honest guy. And so, but unfortunately, Governor Northam did not give me a waiver. So I filed a lawsuit in the Arlington Circuit Court. So you could even check this out. I mean, you just Google Arlington Circuit Court, type my name in Heerak Christian Kim, you'll see the case. My court case against Virginia Governor Northam and Virginia Board of Elections. So it's all public record. Everything that happens in the court system, everybody can look at. It's public record. Yeah, so I encourage you to go Google it and follow it. But I expect my name to be on the ballot by November 3rd. But in the meanwhile, because COVID-19 has slowed down the court system, that's why it's taking so long. Just write my name in Heerak Christian Kim for the space for U.S. Congress in Virginia State District. That's Arlington, Alexandria, Falls Church, and Fairfax County. If you live in Arlington, then just write my name on the ballot. If you live in Alexandria, city of Alexandria, just write my name in the ballot. If you live in Falls Church, write my name, Heerak Christian Kim. And part of Fairfax County is Virginia State District, like close to Falls Church and close to Alexandria and Arlington. Yeah. Yeah, look at America. We have 208,739 cases of death so far. In terms of cases, we have 7,335,946 cases. Compare that to what's happening in Asia. Number one is India with 6,473,544. So they're catching up. They have 100,842 deaths. So death is about half of ours, although the case is much higher. Let's see if they catch up in terms of cases and death. Number two is Bangladesh, but look how low the case numbers are. The discrepancy between India and the rest of the top five. Bangladesh has 367,474 cases and 5,325 deaths. So it's dropped in the bucket. It's like 5 days for us, 5-6 days for us in the United States. Philippines has 319,330 cases. And death is at 5,678. And Pakistan has 313,984 cases, and the death rate is 2%. So yeah, there's a 6,507 deaths. Indonesia has 299,506 cases, and the death is at 11,055. So it puts into perspective how serious U.S. condition is. You know, we need to do something to bring the cases down, because more cases you have, more people will die. And a lot of the hospitals are filling up now, especially in the Midwest. And you have 6 months to go. If hospitals fill up in October, your death rate in your state could be 20% of everyone who has cases can die, or even higher. So I would worry if I'm in Indiana or Colorado or Minnesota or Ohio or Wisconsin or Illinois or Michigan, North Dakota, South Dakota. I would worry if I'm in these states in the Midwest heartland of America, because your hospitals are filling up already. If they all fill up by October, I mean, geez, you're going to have massive death. Like 20, 30% of everyone who gets COVID-19 will die. That's what you're looking at right now. It could be higher. So it's tragic right now, tragic. I have two articles that I thought are relevant and important for you to know and think about. And that is um, relating to President Trump getting COVID-19. He announced it 2 days ago, late at night or early in the morning a day ago. And he's now at Walter Reed Hospital. Obviously, it's serious enough to be going to a hospital, you know. I'm glad he went to the hospital, because things can get really bad. He could die in a matter of hours if things just accelerate downward. So at least, you know, people can start taking care of him now. Yeah, but yeah, I would worry if I'm a family member of President Trump, like Donald Trump Jr. or Eric Trump. There's high chance that President Trump will die. I mean, I don't want him to die. I like President Trump, but there is a high chance he will die because he's over 70 years old. He's overweight. Those two things are, you know, it's bad. And that's not just for President Trump. It's for everybody who's over 70. If they're overweight and if they're over 70, it's like high risk scenario. So, you know, if you're part of that risk scenario, I would be very, very careful. Um, 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 yeah, so one article is virus goes forth from the White House. Um, so the one article under that is 3 White House reporters test positive for COVID-19. 3 of them. Um, it's possible they got it from President Trump. It's also possible that they gave it to President Trump. You know, they tested positive because they tested themselves right now. Um, I mean, they might have been tested every time they entered White House, but sometimes, you know, it may take time. You know, you may be asymptomatic, um, and they could become symptomatic. You know, so you know, so you can't say President Trump gave it to them. It's possible these reporters gave it to President Trump. You know, we just don't know at this point. But this article is by Vincent Barone in New York Post. And the relevant quote is, 3 White House reporters have tested positive for COVID-19 Friday, following President Trump's announcement that he and his first lady, Melania, have contracted the virus. So, I mean, it could go both ways. President Trump might have given it to them. They might have given it to President Trump. We don't know. We don't know. Because they might have given it to somebody in the White House who might have given it to President Trump. I mean, it could be direct, it could be indirect. The reporters might have coughed or, spat or talked into the wall and, somebody touched it. Who knows what happened exactly? No one really knows, but, and as I explained, COVID-19 is airborne, certain strains of it. So if somebody who has COVID start talking or breathing or whatever without a mask on, the particles could be floating. So, you could get it even after they leave, hours later, just walking by where the particles are. So we don't really know at this point how President Trump got COVID or how these 3 reporters got COVID. Second article is also revealing some things that you have to worry about, not just in the White House, but in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, in every school, classroom, every college that's open, every business that's open. Yeah, it gives you a reason to worry. And that is, the title is Ron Johnson becomes 3rd Senate Republican to test positive for COVID-19. 3rd one in 24-hour period. And this is by, is it 24-hour period? Yeah, I think it's like 24-hour period, right? Or is it 24-hour period? Yeah, it's 24-hour period. Yeah, I think it is. That's like a day. Ron Johnson becomes 3rd Senate Republican to test positive for COVID-19. And this article is by John Levine, and New York Post is hitting it, Give me 5 New York Post, because you're getting articles that are like relevant. You're doing a better job than New York Times. New York Post may beat New York Times because people care about COVID-19, I mean, you don't see New York Times there, do you? Because New York Post is doing a good job. New York Times is like slacking. Yeah, because people want to go to what's relevant for their life, And the relevant quote from that is, in addition to Johnson, Utah Senator Mike Lee and North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis both confirmed Friday. So yeah, I guess it's all 3 of them on Friday. Oh, actually Johnson is, I think, Saturday. But anyway, yeah, it's within 24 hours. Friday that they too had contracted the virus, which has now killed more than 200,000 Americans. They could have gotten it or given it to each other, but they could have gotten it independent of each other. We don't know. And it may be because flu season is starting, and this is just what's happening in the flu season. More people are getting it, right? Because obviously, Utah Senator Mike Lee talked to North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis, and they talked to Senator Ron Johnson during summer, but then none of them got it from each other. But now 3 of them are getting it. And that's the way virus spreads in a flu season, right? Like flu virus, right? It just spreads everywhere. And it's not summer anymore. And, COVID-19 may spread much more aggressively during winter than summer, which should worry you, because in the summer we have like 80,000 cases per day. So in winter, you may have like 300, 400,000 cases per day with exponential growth in death toll. But it may be because now we are entering flu season. Flu season may actually already be here. And that is why President Trump got COVID, because in the summer, he didn't wear a mask. In most places, he talked to people all the time. He didn't get COVID. But now that we are like in flu season, beginning of it, people who would normally not get COVID will get COVID. People who normally not die from COVID will die from COVID. Do you see what I'm saying? So maybe President Trump's COVID-19 diagnosis is ushering in the flu season. So in a sense, it's playing a leadership role, showing America that now flu season is here. You can get infected and die. It's a reminder to you to get the vaccine shot. But you may still die with a vaccine shot um, from flu. You could die from flu too, but you still should get COVID flu vaccine. But obviously, you could die from flu. You could die from common cold. You could die from sinus infection. You could die from mononucleosis. You could die from croup. You could die from a lot of different things in the flu season. But the number one killer in the flu season will obviously COVID-19, which Heerak Christian Kim, that's who I am, independent candidate for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District. I'm predicting will kill minimum 3 million Americans, but about, anywhere up to 30 million Americans. And you could even kill more than that. It's 6 months long, flu season, 6 months long. And it's like fall, then winter, and the warmth of spring comes like in May. Yeah. So you're looking at horrific 6 months of death. I don't believe in the liberal media that tries to lie to you and say everything's going to be okay. No, everything's not going to be okay. 3 million Americans will die, are projected to die, or maybe even like 30 million Americans. Everything's not going to be okay. Don't believe the liberal media that lies to you. It's not going to be okay. We as a nation have to face the reality that many of us are going to die. It's unavoidable because we do not have vaccine. And I, Heerak Christian Kim, independent candidate for U.S. Congress, am predicting none of the vaccines will work because scientists have not identified all the strains of COVID-19, unfortunately. I wish they had. That would make vaccine research easier. But human beings can only do so much. They're not gods, right? God's knowledge is infinite. Human beings' knowledge is limited. And COVID-19 is an extremely complicated virus. So you cannot blame the scientists who are working. Some of them are working 24/7. You cannot blame them for not having identified all the strains and understanding all the strains, And there's mutation there may be mutation every day for all we know. We don't know how COVID-19 is mutating, but one of my theories is that COVID-19 is a genetically modified virus, which makes it volatile, unstable virus. So whereas a natural virus may take longer time to mutate, because there have been manipulations on the COVID virus, it is highly unstable, making it very volatile, making it mutate very frequently. And it's sad that that's the case, but I believe my theory is correct. And I think many people are coming to my theory position that COVID-19 is a genetically modified biological weapon of mass destruction. The Chinese Red Army created intentionally to destroy America and America's allies, NATO allies, and our allies in Latin America as well, in order to dominate the world. People do all kinds of stuff for money. People do all kinds of stuff for power. People and nations will do all kinds of stuff to gain global domination. Fight for natural resources is a zero-sum game. And I believe in the zero-sum game. I believe that world operates on a zero-sum game, and the recent decades of research in economics are wrong. Because recent 30 decades of research have argued against the zero-sum game, but I think world's history from beginning to now shows that the world operates on a zero-sum game model. So I think the recent fad is just that, and it's just kind of an extended part of fake news, infringing on academia in the study of economics. I, Heerak Christian Kim, believe in the zero sum, meaning there are limited number of resources in the world, and people fight for those resources. And those who obtain those resources have an advantage. And those who strategically use those natural resources that are limited will dominate. America, we have a lot of natural resources. We've used them very well. That's why we globally dominated. China doesn't have as many natural resources as we do for some reason. Like we have tons of oil. That's just one example. We have tons of natural gas. That's just only a small fraction of what we have that China doesn't have, natural resources. So obviously China wants all that. And that's why China wants to colonize America, to steal our natural resources for their own benefit. So one of my theories is that China is going to invade the United States with their 50 million Chinese Red Army soldiers. It's a country of 1.2 billion people. They can enlist 100 million plus soldiers. They're going to send the soldiers to America. They're going to colonize all 50 states, and they're going to suck up natural gas, oil, because Chinese need it. They have 1.2 billion people. They need these resources. That's why I think my theory is feasible according to the zero-sum game model of economics and economic competition. And it proves, it's a step in proving my theory that China created COVID-19 in order to colonize United States. I don't think China cares if all of us die, because they don't need us really for the natural resources. Because natural resources are, they could always replant 100 million Chinese people in our country, or 300 million Chinese people in our country. Let's say all of us die from COVID-19, 330 million Americans, and China holds an antidote that works. That's a high if, but if they do, or after 330 million Americans die, there's herd immunity that is achieved. So no longer people are dying from COVID-19 really. Then China could just implant 330 million Chinese people in America. Houses are still there, buildings are still there, because unlike nuclear bombs, biological weapons just kill people, right? If it doesn't infect animals, it doesn't even kill animals. Cows will survive, horses will survive, pigs will survive, you have a lot of food sources. Plants will survive, right? It's unlike a nuclear attack. So China could just kind of swoop in and just occupy all the houses that already exist, right? So I think, China has been planning this for a long time, I would argue. And the SARS outbreak were tests by China that kind of went out, because whenever you have a biological warfare, you got to test it out on somebody, right? After a while, you have to test it out on a real population, right, to see if it works. If your biological weapon of mass destruction works against your enemy or not. So you got to test it out. And you got to fix the bugs. So I think a lot of the outbreaks before 2020 that originated in China was part of Chinese biological weapons program, which spans decades. That's my theory. It's hard to prove genetically modified virus. So how are you going to know it's genetically modified? When you eat your watermelon during summer, did you know that they were genetically modified? Yeah. Watermelon without seed were genetically modified watermelon. It's all watermelon. Natural ones have seed. Did you know that it was fake? It's not fake, it's real, right? it's just genetically modified. So that's like what COVID-19. It's not really fake. It's just modified, like watermelon you ate all summer long. Yeah, it's looking bad. You can see Chinese. You look at how prepared they are. You know, they've been preparing for this genetic warfare or biological warfare for a long time, right? What is the easy ways to colonize a resource-rich country that has extensive infrastructure that's far more advanced than Chinese infrastructure in terms of buildings, roads, you know, utility system. What's the best way to reap the fruits of your victory? The loot. Kill everybody off by viral attack, right? The people die, but everything that they built becomes yours. So I mean, Chinese have, I would argue, strategically planned this out for at least 30 years. I would argue. And they've been researching proactively with their greatest minds. Ironically, PhDs who did epidemiology at MIT and Stanford and Caltech and Harvard, who went back to China. Because China is a communist dictatorship. They can force you to do whatever you want. They have no rights in China. Yeah, we basically gave the brains to China to create the COVID-19 biological weapon to be used against us. That's the irony. Yeah, but I mean, that's part of my theory, right? I mean, how are Chinese going to develop scientific brains because we have the greatest scientists? By sending their people to PhD programs in America. PhD program, you think Chinese people 20 years ago could pay for a PhD program in America? I mean, they made what, $1 per day? The most they could make is what, $365 in a year. How are grad students going to pay for that, their tuition? Chinese government paying. Because they have a long-term strategy to dominate the world. We're talking about a civilization that spans like over 7,000 years. You know, they play the long game. I mean, we're only like what, 200-300 years old as a nation. We play short game, and that's our weakness when it comes to fighting a civilization like Chinese civilization that's 7,000 years old. It's a continuous civilization with us as nation, right? But yeah. So anyway, I'm glad that you tuned in today to see my insights, hear my insights. I hope you got your flu shot because you need to go out and get your flu shot. Even with a flu shot, you could still die, but it minimizes it. Yeah, I mean, if you're a politician or school board member, you need to shut the school down. There's no reason for you to send your children to death because you're ignorant about science. That is just stupidity. That's just ignorance. You're gonna shut the schools down. This is a virus that kills. There's no safe way to open a school. Look, President Trump got COVID. He's gonna die from it, maybe. You're telling me your children are safe in a school? There's absolutely zero safe way to open a school. Zero safe way. There is no safe way to open a school. Let me repeat that. There is zero safe way to open a school or college. Zero. Yes, you will see this flu season at the death that's going to come, 3 million to 30 million people dying in America, that Heerak Christian Kim was right to warn you to close your school down. You know how hard I worked to close every public school in Virginia's 8th District down? Arlington, Alexandria, Falls Church, Fairfax County Public School. Why do you think I worked so hard? For the heck of it? No, because I know that science shows that every child who goes to a classroom with 4 walls and a ceiling can die from COVID. That's why. That's why. I want to save your children because I know science. Simple things in science, fundamentals of science prove this. You will see. You will see what happens in the flu season, 6 months long. You have 6 months to see this develop into a national nightmare. And still schools are not shutting down. New York public school is run by a bunch of Democrats. This is why I don't believe in the liberal media. These Democrats, they're going to open up schools and send their children to death, you know, because they have no respect for human life. It's a virus that kills, for God's sake. You know, there's a high likelihood you're going to turn on news a couple of days from now and see President Trump dead. There's a high likelihood. I don't want this to happen, but there's a high likelihood that will happen. And you still will not believe that this COVID-19 will kill you. That's the tragedy. You know, even after 30 million Americans are dead by May, there will be Americans who are saying, you know, I survived it. That's human nature. I understand this human nature because, as you know, I've been professionally trained as a historian at UCLA in the doctoral program for history there. So I understand that will happen because that's just the way people think. And I've seen that kind of human nature over thousands of years. So I know that's what's going to happen. But that's the human tragedy, right? Human tragedy can be prevented, but it cannot really be prevented because of human nature. Because you will have human beings saying, oh, you know, 30 million Americans died. Oh, how horrible, but I didn't die. You know, 300 million Americans didn't die. So we should not have shut down. You will have people saying this. Yeah, of course, this is human nature. Human nature. Yeah, that's the tragedy of humanity and human experience, is there are always ways to save lives. They don't take it. It goes back to Garden of Adam and Eve when God said, eat of everything in the Garden of Eden. Do everything you want. Just do not touch this one fruit. One fruit. From the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Just one tree. Just don't eat that fruit. Then you have eternal life. You're not going to have disease. You're going to have happiness all the time. You will never have sadness. Forever and ever and ever. What does Adam and Eve do? They eat of that one fruit that will destroy their paradise. That's human nature. And that's what's happening in America now. Yeah, you can't stop it. I'm trying to stop it, right? I'm approaching the institutions here, you know, Arlington Public Schools, Alexandria City Public Schools, Fairfax County Public Schools, Falls Church Public Schools, right? I'm approaching the institutions to do the right thing, to save lives of students, because if you leave it up to students and their parents, you're going to have idiotic parents wanting to send their children to school because they don't believe that COVID-19 will kill their children, because this is human nature. So I'm appealing to the institutional leaders like Fairfax County board members, Alexandria City board members, Arlington County school board members, Falls Church City board members, because they may have some idiots there too, trying to open up schools thinking it's not going to kill children. But as long as you get a majority of them to vote to close down schools, you're saving thousands of lives, right? You're definitely going to always have idiot human beings ruining it for everyone. And you have to hope and pray that these idiots do not win when there are votes to close down the school or open the school. Because if you have enough idiots, if you have one more idiot who vote to open a school, then school will open, and then you're going to have massive deaths. And you know what they're going to say? Oh, I didn't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm sorry. What, they're going to apologize to you, and it's not going to bring back your child's life. All 100% of your children could die in the 6 months. What? You go, school board member may survive, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I'm just a school board member. Scientists said we could open up safely. Like Dr. Fauci said, I could open up school faithfully. I just listened to Dr. Fauci. They're just going to blame Dr. Fauci for all the death. They're not going to say, if Dr. Fauci said close down all the schools, I would have voted to close down all the schools. That's what they'll say. Dr. Fauci told you not to wear a mask in March 2020. In April 2020, when I said, wear a mask, always wear a mask. Who was right? Heerak Christian Kim, or Dr. Fauci? Heerak Christian Kim was right. Yeah, I'm going to be right this time as well. Because I'm just using the principles of science, minus the politics. Dr. Fauci, he's kind of in the politics, you know? He's compromising his purity of science for politics. That's corruption, you know? I consider that as corruption. Because Dr. Fauci says things that are scientific, like COVID-19 is airborne, right? He said that. He said, you can get COVID-19 again and again and again. So he knows the science, but he still says you can open up school safely. I'm like, what? How can you say all these scientific things and then turn around and say you can open up school safely? It doesn't make sense. We cannot open up a school safely when COVID-19 is airborne in the air. That's what Dr. Fauci says. How can he say how can he say both? Is Lucifer both an angel and a saint? Well, actually, he is both an angel and a saint because he's a fallen angel. I don't know, maybe like Dr. Fauci is playing like Lucifer, you know? Who knows? I mean, he's like a schizophrenic, you know? He's like, he tells the truth about the dangers of COVID, and then he turns around and tells you to do things that's going to endanger your life or your children's lives. I don't understand it, you know? I'm consistent. I say COVID-19 is airborne, so close down schools because in a enclosed space, your child can get COVID and die. I'm being logical here. I'm being rational. I'm not trying to trick you or confuse you. You know, I'm saying it's airborne, so close down the school. If it wasn't airborne, you know, if you could open up schools safely, I would say open up schools. You know, I mean, geez, life is not that complicated. If you like a girl, tell her you like her. If she says she doesn't want you, then move on to the next girl. You know, don't be stalking her. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you need to let her know, and she can reject you. Then you move on. You know, so that's just life. You know, and there are guys who don't let the girl know, and they like stalk the girl. I'm like, geez, don't scare her. You know, tell her you like her, and then if she says she doesn't like you, then move on. What's complicated? You know, life doesn't have to be complicated. People make life complicated. You know what I'm saying? People make life complicated, and that's the sad thing about humanity, human nature, right? Bible says, let yes be yes, let no be no, right? You know, Bible has good advice. So I said, follow God's advice in the Bible. Anyway, this is a daily show. So, you know, check back tomorrow for helpful information on how you can survive COVID. Liberal media is lying to you. Yeah, you follow liberal media, you know, you may end up dead. All of your children may end up dead. Yeah, don't trust the liberal media. I don't trust like New York Governor Cuomo, who's like, open up schools, open up schools. What? Yeah. Yeah, anybody who tells you to open up schools, he's not your friend. She's not your friend. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I hope that President Trump gets better. You know, let's all pray for President Trump to recover. So, you know, I mean, you know, God may hear your prayer, but, you know, odds are against him, you know. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, odds are against many of you, you know, if you get COVID. So try not to get COVID. That's the moral of the lesson. Yeah. Well, I hope that you will be well and that your children will be well too. See you tomorrow. Bye.